Hey guys, quick update while I'm waiting to get into the stop. So you probably heard the Pennsylvania Supreme Court threw out President Trump's legal team's challenge to some votes. And, of course, the news is laughing about it. All your Marxist, socialist friends are saying, see, this is all bogus. There's nothing to these allegations. But you have to look at the allegations. This is what the news does. They never will dive deep and show you the actual news. Okay, it's censorship by omission. So what are these votes that the Supreme Court wouldn't throw out? 8,300 votes with no name, no address, and no signature. Just Joe Biden's name on it. Now, I was here in Florida during Al Gore versus George Bush, and we literally had lawyers from each side, a Republican lawyer and a Democrat lawyer, and they would look at a ballot and hand it to one another. I guarantee you, 100%, those would be thrown out. The Democrats wouldn't even try to argue that. They were arguing about ones that were completely filled out legitimately, where it wasn't filled in dark enough. Was that a scuff mark? Was that accidental? These are the things. Or the Chad wasn't completely popped out by the machine. It was a hanging Chad. These were the things they went to court for. This is just common sense. No name on the ballot. No signature on the ballot. No address on the ballot. The only name on the ballot, Joe Biden. Come on. Now, if you recall my video with the election prediction, I said Trump would have to win Pennsylvania by at least 5 points just to overcome the fraud that's a given in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania. And, my socialist friends laughed, there's no fraud. And I showed them in the newspapers, just as late as 2020, Democrats going to jail for voter fraud. There's dozens of Democrats have been in jail in Philadelphia for voter fraud, and this is where these 8,300 votes came from. So that was the fraud I was talking about that takes place every election. But when I was watching and seeing that Trump at one point was up by 14% and seeing that he had already freaking destroyed Biden in Ohio, Florida, and Iowa, I knew we won this election. And then again, the famous stop the vote, which has never happened in election history. They just stopped counting. And Sidney Powell, an independent lawyer, and again, the news is making her look like she's a goofball because Trump's team saying she's not on the team. She was never on the team. She never claimed she was on their team. She's an independent lawyer, a patriot, but she's a top gun. She's a hardcore. She's not a lightweight. She's a heavyweight lawyer, internationally known as one of the best. And of course, the media, just like they're trying to make Rudy Giuliani, one of the best U.S. attorneys in our history, look like a goofball. They're trying to make her look like a goofball. Well, she says that's nothing. Those 8,300 votes are nothing. What she's looking at, and what she has evidence of, is 450,000 votes with just Joe Biden's name on it. They didn't vote for any down ballot races, Congress, local races, Senate, and that's highly, highly unusual. It's unheard of. And that's number one. And none of them are Trump. They're all Biden. And she's saying what happened is, and General McInerney, who was a respected Air Force general in the intelligence field, says the CIA has a computer called Hammer Scorecard where they can flip votes. And she also says the Dominion voting machines with the Smartmatic software, you can set it. And she says she has people with sworn testimony under threat of perjury and going to jail, are saying that these were set at every time you voted for Biden, he got 1.5 votes, but every vote for Trump was only 0.7. So it made it look more realistic. But the reason they had to stop the voting was even with that handicap they gave Biden, the vote was so overwhelming for Trump, the algorithms couldn't keep up, and Trump was still going to win Pennsylvania. So they stopped the voting and brought in all these fake ballots that they said were mailed in. I mean, I haven't seen the evidence yet. She says she's holding it for the Supreme Court, so we'll see. But that's what's going to overturn this and keep President Trump our president. But as far as the Pennsylvania vote, if any of your snarky friends says, oh, they're being laughed at by this Pennsylvania Supreme Court, what they're being laughed at is 8,300 votes with no name, no signature, no address, and that Supreme Court is elected. They're not appointed. They're elected. And the majority of it are activist Democrats. Activist Democrats. And they're the one that started this mess when the United States Constitution clearly says that each state legislature chooses what method the law of voting would be, how you vote. And the Pennsylvania legislature was clear that no votes can be accepted after 8 o'clock on election night. They were clear. The governor asked them to change it. They said no. So the governor went to his friends at the Democrat Supreme Court in Pennsylvania and said, can you change it? So they changed it and said, yeah, you could bring in mail-in ballots up to several days after, and don't have to be a signature on it, and it doesn't have to be they said it had to be postmarked, but the postmark is smudged, it doesn't matter. So basically gave them free reign to cheat. And even President Jimmy Carter, when he was asked to be in a commission looking at voter fraud, said the one thing that leads to voter fraud the most is mail-in ballots. So we're not talking about absentee ballots where you request, hey, my name is Joe Smith. I live at this address. Here's my, social security number. I need an absentee ballot because I'm going to be out of time. You're talking about Democrat states, Democrat governors just mailing out millions of ballots. And we have sworn testimonies of people getting ballots and they from other people because the people have moved out. So, Lord willing, this is going to take a miracle because according to General McInerney, the Obama administration used that Hammer scorecard to listen in on chief justices, on senators, on Republican cabinet members. So I'm sure they have a lot of dirt on these people. And, so hopefully these judges are clean and have integrity and we can see the evidence. We need to know who won this fair and square. And like I said, I've been I've been watching elections for a long time. And this just doesn't add up, winning Florida, Iowa, and Ohio in such huge numbers and then losing the election. And being up by 700,000 votes at midnight on election night in Pennsylvania and then losing, this just does not pass the smell test. And again, if you don't think these people would cheat and lie, think about it. These people kill babies to stay in power or to gain power. So God bless, and stay informed and stay in prayer.